What's up, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson. We're recording around 2:30 on Thursday, December 5th. Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's all caps BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, we start with Jay Greeson in Chattanooga. What's happening?
Not much, my man. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Enjoyed the games. Got your fill on food, family, and football. And hopefully your bets on the ball games. See what I did there? Turned out as glowingly as mine did over this past weekend. Had a good weekend last weekend.
So did I. Gators got there, although got a little hairy there at the end. Missouri got there. It was definitely 60 minutes of a sweat. Vandy, not so much. Kentucky, not so much. South Carolina worked. Georgia Tech worked. And my NFL was good. So, all right, good, bad, and ugly from last week. I'll let you start with the good.
Everything about the Georgia Tech game as just a casual observer. It was a ton of fun, and I know my wife graduated from Georgia. We've got an English bulldog that was just like Uga, but being an Auburn grad, we named him Bo Jackson because that's how happy marriages are built. But it was thrilling. It was entertaining, and I don't know of a guy who has done better work over 2+ years than what Brent Key has done after the disaster Geoff Collins left him in Atlanta. Because Georgia Tech, they had a great recruiting class, and they are going to be a handful because they stood toe-to-toe and traded physical punches with a very good Georgia football team.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Clemson and Georgia play this week because they both had physical wars and a lot of extra plays for Georgia. Not the old school 8 overtime, but still a lot of extra snaps into 8 OTs. Although, when do they start doing 2-point conversions? Third OT?
Yeah. The first two are traditional, and then after that, it's a 2-point conversion.
Yeah. All right, my good. I'm going to go. There's a lot of places I could go, but I'm going to go Tennessee because Diego Pavia and company punched them in the mouth early. And Diego has had a tendency to do that this year. And it was not looking so hot for Tennessee there in the first half for a while. But they turned it around, and now they're going to the CFP because of it. And that game could have gone a bunch of different ways. And they hung in there. They got going offensively in the second quarter. And they did enough to not only get the win, but for their backers, a nice 2-point conversion stop. And for Vandy backers, a not very good 2-point stop there in the fourth quarter. And the Vols are going to the CFP for the first time in program history. So I'll go there for my good.
Well, and I loved what Josh Heupel talking about his signing class because Tennessee, and we can talk about Wednesday being the first day of the early signing period because the SEC, dear Lord, the rich get richer. But Josh Heupel said when he was talking about his signees earlier this week, they asked him about the college football playoff rankings because the way it falls with the conference champions, it looks like Tennessee may end up as the 9 seed as way things are slotted now, which means they would have to go to Ohio State. And he said, I don't really give a damn. You're going to have to play somebody good anyway. And if you're not up for the challenge or want to be a competitor, then you're only going to have a cup of coffee in this playoff thing anyway. We're here to win the damn thing. I mean, absolutely. Josh Heupel has impressed me with. I talked about Brent Key just a minute ago. Josh Heupel inherited a dumpster fire, and I was curious if you were going to go on your good. Billy Bob Napier's had a pretty good 3 weeks, brother.
Eye roll emoji.
Fair enough. My bad is, man, oh man, Texas A&M had everything within its reach and has had a really rotten 10-day stretch.
Yes, they have. They sure have, and
the whole world. College Game Day was there on Saturday, and the whole world was watching that game. And Texas punched them in the chest and made them like it.
Yep. I'm going to go with my bad is going to be Kentucky. You've owned Louisville 5 wins in a row, both straight up and ATS. And you absolutely get mauled from start to finish. The game was over in the second quarter. And we got to wonder, is the Mark Stoops era in Lexington over? I guess, if it was definitively going to be over, we might have already known about it. What do you think on that? They probably got a pretty big buyout, probably, don't they?
He's got a big buyout. He's extremely well paid. He's like top 10 nationally in salary.
You think he's shopping for a job right now?
No. I think at this point, Stoops is going to, if he leaves Kentucky, he's going to do a Malzahn. Malzahn doesn't need $5 million of UCF's money. He's made $50+ million coaching. He probably wants to go be the play caller in Tallahassee and not have to deal with yahoos like you and me giving him crap and having to answer tough questions. He just wants to coach ball. And now you can be an OC or a DC at a major program and earn 7 figures without all the major league headaches and the chicken dinners.
I've been locked in on hoops really the last couple of days, and I haven't been following what's going on with UNC. Is Mullen a player in that? I think that's who UNC should go get.
Man, I've seen Mullen's name at a bunch of places. I've seen Mullen's name at Purdue. I've seen Mullen's name at UCF.
Mullen ain't going to Purdue. I don't
know.
think.
God no. Hey, you know who my first call is to Purdue? Drew Brees.
Sure.
I mean, he's your most famous alum. I mean, it can't be any worse than what you had this year because this year was they're the worst team in college football.
Probably. Yeah. Yep. All right. So where were we? Did you do your bad yet?
Yeah, my bad was Texas A&M. My ugly is what the expanded playoff did to the regular season. The Ohio State lost to Michigan. Doesn't matter. Alabama's lost to Vandy. Doesn't matter. I mean, they just don't matter anymore. Those great Saturday moments, we are expanding college football, and it looks more and more like what college basketball does. If you're Georgia and Carson Beck is injured or has a bum shoulder, why play him? You're in the playoff. If Quinn Ewers is hurt, why play him? Texas, you're in the playoff. And as we've talked on here before, there's more value to your athletic department being 5 through 8 than there is being 1 through 4.
All right, my ugly is Ole Miss. I mean, you get the win in the Egg Bowl, but what a just rotten way to end the season. This was your year. Your year. And hey, let's say Auburn beats Alabama. Let's say Clemson beats South Carolina. That performance that you put forth against Mississippi State, you would not be deserving of the playoff. And I mean, I don't know how it would have ended up going. Like Mississippi State could have won that game. Did you watch much of that game?
Yeah, and I was fully expecting Lane to put his foot on the accelerator. And, I was thinking 70. But I don't know. It's like Lane didn't really like this team. Does that make sense? They were unbelievably talented.
Kind of does.
but something just never clicked with this group. I mean, since other than the Georgia game, you were almost always left wanting more from Ole Miss.
Yeah, and I would imagine everybody's going to opt out of this bowl game too.
Oh my word! I mean, and they may draw somebody like UNLV who's going to get hyped up, or an Iowa State, or the Big 12 title game loser.
Somebody that'll want to beat their ass and will beat their ass, kind of like Texas Tech did a couple years ago. Yeah.
Well, we call that the Malzahn in Auburn, that you show up into a bowl game as a touchdown favorite and lose by 3.
Yeah. Or lose by more than that, or I guess UCF beat y'all in Atlanta by 3
that year. About 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I got you. 3 touchdowns. I got you. All right. Okay. So that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we look ahead now, and BetOnline has, Texas is a 2.5-point favorite, but a -117 price. The total is 49.5. If you want Georgia on the money line at BetOnline, it's +123, which is one of the better prices. There are a couple of +125s out there. If you shop around, there are also some 3s out there if you like Georgia. I made Georgia a 3-point favorite, so that tells you who I like. And
I'm with you. I am so with you, especially where this game is, especially, I mean, both of them are coming off very physical rivalry games, but experience has to matter. And all of these Georgia kids have been in just one meaningful game after another. And they are completely comfortable with everybody looking at them like it's their Super Bowl. And this is no different. And don't get me wrong, Texas has played some big games too, but nowhere close to what Georgia and the core of that football team has faced over the last 3 years. Plus, they're just more talented. I mean, mock drafts are starting to circulate. Georgia's got 3 defenders that are pretty universally listed among the top 15 picks. 2 edge rushers and the safety. And I mean, I love Georgia on the money line. I mean, I'll take that 125 price, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, and look, going back to the head-to-head meeting, I mean, that game was all Georgia from the start. They win 30-15, but keep in mind, Carson Beck was awful that night. He only threw for 175 yards. He threw for 3 interceptions, and I think we made note of it last week, or you did. All those tens of millions he lost in September and October, he's earning them back. And last 3 games, Beck, 11 touchdown passes without an interception. And then you look at the resumes. Texas does not have one win over a team in the CFP's top 25 this week. Georgia's got a 31-17 home win over 7th-ranked Tennessee. They also have a 34-3 win over 17th-ranked Clemson, and the 30-15 win over 2nd-ranked Texas. And they've won 3 in a row and 7 of its last 8. And they've only been an underdog once this year to Texas. They went outright. And their last time being an underdog was the opener against Clemson in 2021 when they beat them in Charlotte. So Georgia's an underdog. Yes. So I'll do +2.5 or 3 for the most, but then I'll also get some +123, 25 as well. So we're both on Georgia. All right. You want to talk some SEC hoops, or should we go to our non-SEC picks and go back to SEC hoops? What you want to do?
Let's kick around the rest of our championship game picks.
Let's do that. All right. You go ahead.
This week. I think Tulane has got too many athletes for Army, and I think Army, once their title,
your betrayal. Your betrayal smells. It's like taking LSU under last year in the bowl game.
I'm Benedict Arnold, man. I've betrayed the Army cadets. But I love Georgia. I love Georgia plus the 3. I like Clemson plus the points against SMU. And I think Oregon turns the Big Ten title game into a track meet and walks all over Penn State.
Yeah, I don't know if they blow them out, but I'm on Oregon as well. I'm buying the half point to 3. They've won 9 of their 12 by double digits, and I think they have the QB advantage. Dylan Gabriel, 24-6 TDI and T ratio, 7 rushing touchdowns. But look, just on a rule of thumb, going against James Franklin in big games is the right side to be on. I disagree with you on SMU Clemson. I know SMU's resume leaves a lot to be desired in terms of, who they've played and whatnot, but they had a cakewalk last week. In fact, they've had 4 cakewalks in a row. They've 4 wins in a row by double-digit margins. They've won 9 in a row, which is all the games with Jennings at QB, 7-2 against the spread in that stretch, 7 of the 9 wins by double digits. And Clemson's coming off that 60-minute war that was physically and mentally taxing because they had the lead most of the game and just did not get it done in the end. Now, they probably had a mental bounce back a few hours later, or was that in the same time slot? I forget when Miami and Syracuse played. But anyhow, maybe they had a mental bounce back because now they're alive for everything. But I like SMU, although location advantage does go to Clemson. But yeah, I'm on the Mustangs, and I'll give, even though he's got 2 natties, I'll give the head coaching advantage to SMU and the quarterback advantage.
Staggering, considering Auburn could not fire Rhett Lashley fast enough when he was the OC there under Malzahn.
I give them the head coaching advantage. All right, I'll give you one more. I like Miami of Ohio in the MAC game. They are -2 to Ohio. They did play them earlier in the year. They beat them 30-20, albeit at home. But the Redhawks are on fire. They have won 7 in a row, and they have gone 6-1 against the spread. And 6 of those 7 wins by double-digit margins, including the one on Ohio. So give me the Redhawks in that one. And I'm okay with Jacksonville State in a money line parlay. That line has gone up. I should have got it earlier in the week. I don't like it at 4.5. Arizona State, keep in mind their best receiver is out, and he is an absolute stud.
That guy's coach of the year, right?
National? No, that's got to be Signetti for me. But Dillingham number 2, I think, right?
Well, I mean, maybe.
No. Signetti's coach of the year. End of story. Can I give you the reason why?
Well, I mean, I was just going to say Arizona State was picked to finish last in the Big 12. Last.
Okay. And Kenny Dillingham is undoubtedly Big 12 coach of the year. Signetti, Indiana had won 9 games twice ever in 1945 and 1963. And they had never won 10 ever. He won 11.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, the tradition-rich Arizona State Sun Devils also. I mean, other than Jake Plummer, I mean,
Arizona State goes to bowl games, though. I mean, Indiana doesn't do anything. But anyway, back to ASU. So it is Jordan Tyson who is out for the season. 75 catches, 1,101 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Like their next biggest pass catcher has got like 30 catches. So that's a huge loss for ASU. Or I would be on ASU.
Jordan Tyson is that kid's name?
Yeah.
His parents must have loved them some 80s sports.
Yes.
I mean, what's his middle name? Magic? They call him Tiger. I mean, holy damn, man. He's a Nike commercial.
It should be Jordan Magic Tyson or Jordan Bird Tyson. One or the other.
Not playing receiver. Maybe playing guard.
All right, you got any NFL? I love the Lions tonight. Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot of points scored on a short week where you don't get a whole lot of defensive preparation indoors. Both quarterbacks are humming. I think that goes over the 51, and I do like the Lions as well.
Lions are banged up on defense, and Alexander is out on the Packers in the secondary as well. Love the Lions. Get a little first half as well. Get a little team total over 13.5 first half, but -3 being your stud hoss.
Are you in a place that can we talk about Kirk Cousins yet, or are you just want to pretend like that didn't happen?
I mean, why he has just ignored Kyle Pitts 3 or 4 weeks in a row after feeding him for a month and just getting stats galore. Don't know. What's that emoji where you do like this? Like,
I don't know. I've never used an emoji.
Me neither.
I have zero intentions. The next emoji I use will be the first. And if
Same,
you ever get
same with me.
an emoji from me, I hit the wrong button. I just know that.
Same with me. That's why I go eye roll emoji. I just say it. I don't type it. So yeah, tell me about Kirk Cousins.
Well, I mean, at this point in time, I mean, do you not roll the dice with Michael Penix? I mean, 4 picks and his arm look weak. His decision-making look flawed.
Is he hurt?
I don't know, but that pick 6 that turned the game around, I throw the ball harder than that, and I'm 54.
Yes.
I mean, that thing got out there. You talk about things being on the line. That thing, I've seen actual Christmas cards get delivered faster. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it was bad. It was completely, and I mean, I don't think they're a terrible football team. I think they've drafted poorly over the last handful of years because, don't get me wrong, I think Bijan Robinson's a good player, but if you go get Saquon Barkley on the free agent treadmill or Derrick Henry or those guys, go drafting a running back in the first round is stupid. I'm sorry. It's dumb.
I mean, we still don't have a pass rush.
No, they haven't had a pass. The Falcons have not had a pass rush since
the Super Bowl year. Vic, the Clemson got Vic something, got 15 sacks. Beasley, yeah, he sucked though. Every other year he sucked.
Yeah, and I mean the pick right behind Bijan Robinson, and again, Bijan's having a fine year, but Tyler Algiers is having a good year too. I mean, running backs are interchangeable. The pick right behind Bijan Robinson, you remember who it was?
Oh, yeah, it was the big guy for the Eagles, right?
Yeah, Jalen Carter from Georgia.
That's who I wanted.
Who could very well be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year because he dominates the line of scrimmage every time he puts a helmet on.
Yeah. One other NFL play that I have this week is Arizona Cardinals -2.5 at home to Seattle. Revenge mode. Lost a tough one 2 weeks ago at Seattle. And then in a back-to-back road spot, shoulda, woulda, coulda beaten the Vikings, but didn't. But I think they get right at home, and the sense of urgency is there because they fall an extra game behind Seattle. And we are in December now because Seattle would have the head-to-head tiebreaker on them if they win this one. So I like the Cardinals -2.5 in that one. I'll probably be on the Dolphins in some way, either a teaser, moneyline parlay, or minus the 5.5 at home to the hapless Jets. Any other NFL for you?
No, I haven't studied the NFL just yet. I do like the Lions tonight, but I have not studied up on it accordingly.
All right, let's talk some SEC hoops. So I'm going to go through the Ken Palm where everybody in the SEC is, and it is staggering how great this conference is this year. All right, Ken Palm, despite losing last night at Duke, Auburn remains the uno, Tennessee's number 2, Bama 7, Florida 8, Kentucky 11, Mississippi State 12, and how about them just rolling Pitt by 33 last night, and our guy Hubbard, 28-2 assist to turnover ratio. I didn't know he was an assist to turnover guy. I knew he could stroke that jumper. Ole Miss continues to impress. 27, A&M 28, Texas 34, Georgia 38, Oklahoma 39, Arkansas 43, LSU 49, Missouri 60, Vandy 68, South Carolina 69. Every single SEC team in the top 70. And I watched Vanderbilt play for the first time last night. They got a good little squad. I like the pieces they have. I don't know if you've watched them much. I had not
I have
watched them
not,
hardly, but
but
they got some players.
well, and you just rattled off 16 teams in the top 69. And then you talk about trips. Every road game is going to be a flipping rock fight in this league.
Yep.
Because, I mean, if you look at the standings, Arkansas may be one of the weaker rosters in the league. But don't tell me you're going to go there.
It's not going to be easy to win.
That ain't going to be an easy. It ain't going to be an easy W. There are no off nights in. You want to talk about it? It just is. Forget it. Just means more. It's going to take more. I mean, there'll be some SEC teams that deserve tournament bids with double-digit losses.
Yeah, and like some of these losses that teams have are not shameful. I mean, A&M loses to Oregon out in Vegas, but they also beat Creighton and they beat Rutgers. Now, UCF 78 in Ken Palm, they lost at UCF by 3. A&M's like, if their shots are falling, they're going to be very, very tough to beat. But I don't know that their shots are always going to be falling, but they'll be dangerous when they are. So Tennessee is the one that is, I don't, go ahead.
Well, I was actually going to
I was just going to say Tennessee's the one that's surprising me.
Yeah, I did not. I thought Tennessee lost too much to be in a place to where you can make a hard argument they're the best team in the country. And I think Auburn has the best resume with what they've done, but Tennessee's still undefeated. And I read a stat today in the Times Free Press, or the newspaper that I work for. They've led by at least 26 in every one of their 8 wins. So they're not just –
and their closest –
they're killing
their closest game – their closest game is 15 to Baylor, 77-62, but they were up 23-7 10 minutes into that game, and they were up by 27 at halftime. So basically they've punked everybody, and that includes at Louisville by 22. Louisville's 53 in Ken Palm, and my Gators have won every game by 13 or more, I believe. And if you had the Gators last night, that late 3 really did help you big time as you get the half-point spread cover. Yeah, Florida's won every game by at least 13. And Alabama, all right, they're racking up quality wins big time. You get another one at North Carolina. You got you got a neutral over Houston and Rutgers. You got in Birmingham over Illinois, and you lose at Purdue. But you got a home win over McNeese, which is top 100, and Arkansas State, which I think is going to be in the tournament and win the Sun Belt. As I say that, they've lost to Rice and Hofstra in the last week. Maybe not. But, Alabama's and their resume, is their schedule ranked? Or is their strength of schedule? It's got to be number 1, right?
Who? I don't think it's tougher than Auburn's.
Anyway, what else in hoops? Any? What's that now?
I don't think Alabama's schedule is tougher than Auburn's.
Oh, let's compare. All right. Auburn has played number 5, number 6, number 3, number 24, number 32. That's pretty good. I'm looking harder for this SOS on Ken Palm. I thought it was up at the top. And then you look at Alabama, and they have played. They've only played one top 10, that being number 5, Houston. But they've played 13, 14, 6. Yeah, all right. I'll give it to you. Good point.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Whatever emoji fits here, I would use that emoji.
These Auburn or Alabama fans. You can't give one just the slightest little edge over the other without outrage.
I don't want to talk about
outrage.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, you know what we are going to talk about? When does Auburn and Alabama play in basketball? Let's look for that. They play
That's going to be
February
a hot ticket.
February 15th in Tuscaloosa. Oh, and the regular season finale March 8th at Auburn.
Go ahead and book. Go ahead and book.
All right.
There, Billis and the whole crew. Go ahead and just sign that down. Write it up.
Sure. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So let's see. Auburn, you got, oh, yeah. You still got Purdue left on non conference in Birmingham, and you've got Ohio State in Atlanta. All right.
I love that Bruce has loaded up the schedule. I mean, yeah, it's a boom or bust type of thing, especially as good as the league is, because if you limp through this with a couple, 3 extra losses, you're putting yourself in bubble territory. But this team, that Auburn is good, man. They are good.
And Duke got really fortunate. I mean, y'all get the knockaway where it looked like you might get a run out, and Duke actually gets it and hits I'm not calling it a prayer, but right at the shot clock buzzer to go up 5. That was Duke cost some breaks down the stretch, big time.
Well,
that hurt my.
You got to factor this in. I mean, it plays into the difficulty of playing really good opponents on the road. But Duke shot 27 free throws. Auburn shot 12.
Yep, that's a given. And yes. All right, let's take a little time out. Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? Are you wanting to bet on yourself? Tired of answering to the man? Want to get out on your own? Our guy, Andy Ludecke, will help you do just that. His business, myperfectfranchise.net. That's who you want to talk to. This is a guy who wanted to start his own business, did that. Got multiple businesses now, including this one, myperfectfranchise.net. Here's how it works. You get to set up an intro call, 1-hour consultation, 100% free. Tell Andy about your passions, skills, goals, the time and money you have to invest in this endeavor. He's going to find you the sort of business that fits your DNA. He'll register you with potential franchises. He'll find the best franchise that suits the vision and corporate culture you want, and before you know it, you'll be on your way. Andy will have you making greenbacks galore. Andy wants to help. Reach out to my man, Andy Ludecke at myperfectfranchise.net, 404-973-9901. All right, let's talk a little recruiting. 247 Sports Composite had Texas 1, Bama 2, Georgia 3, Auburn 6, LSU 8, A&M 9, Tennessee 10, Florida 11, and then Ole Miss 15. We've had guys enter the portal. Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, Connor Wegman from A&M. Any thoughts on recruiting, other portal names, etc.? What you got, Jay?
I think a couple of things. One, Hugh Freeze landing the number 6 class after what was, by almost all measures, a really rough season is both a testament to his job and that staff's focus on recruiting and the importance of the NIL, because they keep Deuce Knight in the fold, the 5-star quarterback from Mississippi. And I also think it's really important, even with the NIL and the talk about these kids getting paid and all the things that go with it, the conversations around Gainesville, you have to be encouraged by on what is now being dubbed the DJ Lagway effect and how he helped recruit some of these late flips that Florida got to get them to the number 11 ranked class on what was also a disappointing regular season for Billy Napier. I mean, hell, he was on the hot seat for half the year and still landed almost a top 10 class.
Yeah, but the one thing that, and I'm going to throw this caveat, like, it's okay if we get veteran portal receivers, but we only signed 3 receivers, and we've got Lagway. Now, Vernell Brown is our 5-star top guy, but he's a legacy. Vernell Brown and Ben Hanks Jr. are our top 2 recruits. They were coming to Florida regardless of who the coach was. Okay, so the second-rated receiver is Nashawn Montgomery. He's a 3-star. And then the next receiver is another 3-star, Muiz Tonkara, another 3-star. Now, if we can get Concepcion from NC State, or like in other words, we only got one of the top 20 receivers in the country with DJ Lagway. Of the top 10 portal receivers, I want 3 of them.
Well, there are a couple of dudes out there. I mean, you mentioned Kevin Concepcion, and he's a stud.
Yes.
Jonte Cook at Texas is expected to enter the portal, and Micah Hudson, I believe he was the highest rated recruit Texas Tech has ever signed, and he battled injuries and had a disappointing freshman year, but he's in the portal too.
All right. So Jackson Arnold, that's got to even sting more in that, what Gabriel's done. They're gonna have to watch Gabriel play in the playoff, and now Arnold's gone. I guess Oklahoma will go get a veteran quarterback out of the portal.
We need to get in line behind Auburn. You want to talk about a school that needs to be backing the Brinks truck up to a Miller Moss, a Jackson Arnold, to a guy who has Connor Wegman even. I mean, somebody who has been through this before, because if your 2 options are Hank Brown or a true freshman in Deuce Knight, that's going to be more hardship, and the grumbling is going to get louder, Hugh Freeze.
Yeah. All right, so on our way out of here, I want to take a look at the odds to win the playoff. Our friends at Bet Online, and and actually, I also know of some hypothetical lines for the playoffs that I'll also grab here. But do you have a pick of who you think's gonna win? I mean, we don't even know the matchups yet, so obviously, I mean, I Bet Online's got Georgia at plus 575. All these teams have warts. If I had to pick it right now, I'd go Georgia plus 575. If you had to pick it, Oregon plus 360, Texas plus 375, Ohio State plus 450, Notre Dame 8-1, Penn State 10-1, Bama 12-1, Tennessee 18-1.
I would, at those numbers, I think I would go Ohio State, because I actually think you're right. They all have warts, but I think Ohio State is as tested as anyone. And I actually think that loss to Michigan, since it didn't knock them out of the playoff, can be a galvanizing thing a little bit for a team that is unquestionably as talented as anyone.
All right, last thing, hypothetical spreads from DraftKings. Arizona State at Penn State minus 14. Tennessee at Ohio State minus 7.5. Alabama at Notre Dame minus 2.5. Indiana at Georgia minus 10.5. I'd be on
Bama and the Dogs right there.
I'd be on Bama for sure. I'd probably be a little bit on Tennessee. And I'd probably be a pass on Indiana, Georgia.
Yeah, that's because you got a man crush on Signetti and
Kurt Signetti. That's right.
Whatever heart emoji, I guess, whatever emoji fits there.
Hey, I would be just hoping the Hoosiers go in there and win outright, obviously. All right, I think that's gonna do it. MyPerfectFranchise.net. Bet Online, Southeastern 16. He's Jay Greeson. I'm Brian Edwards. Good luck with your bets. We will talk to you next week. We're over and out.